Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and I welcome you guys to the last Mangs Monday of 2015. Sadly, due to my busy schedule and Christmas coming up and blah blah blah, I won't be able to make any more Mangs Mondays until the new year, so this will be the final one, so let's make it good. Kick back, relax, fetch something to drink, and enjoy the show! In today's news and update segment, I have something really cool to show you guys. Some of you may have heard about the mysterious and elusive Fire Emblem game that never made it past development, called Fire Emblem 64. It was supposed to be the sequel to Thracia 776 and come out on the Nintendo 64, but it was cancelled shortly after its initial developments, and instead, Fire Emblem Binding Blade was made for the Game Boy Advance. Fire Emblem 64 has intrigued fans all over the world due to there being absolutely no release footage or information about it whatsoever, up until now. Recently, some pictures were released to the public, and it turns out that the original title was supposed to be named Fire Emblem 64 Maiden of Darkness. The main character was actually supposed to be named Ike and looked like this. This character was later changed to Roy, but it's quite funny that Ike was later reused in Path of Radiance. We also have a picture of Idun, and she looks quite different from the one we know today. Apparently her role in this game was supposed to be vastly different, and she doesn't look as dark and gloomy here, but rather more cheery. We also have some early concept art of some supposed playable characters. We can only speculate what classes they were supposed to be, but I must say that I am intrigued to know if some of these characters sparked inspiration for future characters in the official games. Taki looks like a myrmidon to me, and might have been the early concept art of Rutger. Helen sure looks like either a Pegasus Knight or Cavalier, and Renette looks to be either a troubadour or a cleric. Then we have this very early concept art of what appears to be an unnamed, strongly built fighter or armor knight, maybe? It's difficult to tell. We also have this fascinating picture, which looks like it's from an in-game cutscene. I actually don't know what they're saying, but don't you think the character on the left looks a hell of a lot like Pent? Apparently, aside from the main character Roy, Carol was the only character in Fire Emblem 64 to be carried into Binding Blade. It is quite fascinating to speculate whether he played a more important role in the first game, as opposed to Binding Blade, where he's really only available for the last few chapters. At any rate, it's quite satisfying to finally get some information about this elusive title. As a hardcore Fire Emblem fan myself, I have always wondered if this game would have been more popular than Binding Blade, and I guess we'll never know now. But I think that most games that get cancelled does so for a good reason. So I guess we can finally lay our curiosity to rest and let this game finally pass into history. In today's featured Let's Play segment, I will be featuring my third Let's Play from the great Don Don. His friend Mecha isn't part of this one, however, so it's not as great, but it is Don Don's Let's Play of Fire Emblem 7 Hector Hard Mode, 0% growths, low turn count playthrough, with commentary, of course. Now, while it's nowhere near as good as their Fire Emblem 6 Let's Play, or their Fire Emblem 12 Let's Play, it is still a really enjoyable Let's Play to watch, because anyone who can complete a Fire Emblem game, particularly one of the newer ones, on 0% growth with a low turn count is extremely entertaining to watch because of the immense planning and skill, as well as the knowledge of the game mechanics required to pull something like that off. And as I said, the commentary is not as great in this Let's Play, and the quality is a little bit lower, but the concept of the Let's Play is still very, very fun to watch, and I definitely recommend this to anyone who wants to broaden their perspective of how to play Fire Emblem, because the fact that you can even do something like this just tells you how much skill and planning is involved in this game. So, and of course, if you haven't watched Don Don and Mecha, oh my god, you really need to head over to their channel, and you need to watch their freaking 0% growth Let's Plays, because they are seriously some of the best Let's Plays of Fire Emblem on YouTube, in my opinion. Not just the commentary in the later ones, but just the playstyle and the way they're planned and set out is just amazing to watch. And if you haven't watched anything like this before, your mind will be absolutely blown. If you're like, oh, Fire Emblem Awakening lunatic so hard, you're like, go watch this shit and see what they are able to pull off just by understanding the basic mechanics of the game. So yeah, head over, watch the Fire Emblem 7 Hector Hard Mode playthrough, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and tell them Mang sent you, because fuck, at this point, Don has like 951 subs. He should have more. He should have so much more than that. This channel should fucking be blowing up. So go support them. And then we come to the part of the show where I read a cool comment. And this week, it's that guy again. He's made a poem based on the Fire Emblem intro, which I shall read out. Long ago, when the bards were closer to men, a great bard fought to save bardkind with divine trains. In his possession was a harp of light to pierce the dankness, and a sacred train of burning birds born of bards. A train that surpassed turn and count. This is the story of the fabled bard train. Bard Emblem, the barding train. Oh yeah, who would definitely bard again. Lovely. And then we come to the Babe of the Week, and this one is in honor of my upcoming Awakening Let's Play. This chick isn't someone I personally consider very sexy, but rather just cute, and I think that's why she is so incredibly popular among a certain group of people in the fanbase. Today, we're taking a look at the cute girl with no tits, Lucina. Lucina is a really unique and unusual character in that she holds very little direct sex appeal due to her uncurvy appearance. While she is considered beautiful, many people also think she resembles a male version of Marth a little bit too much for their liking. Still, Lucina garners an almost religious following from certain fans, and I think it may have something to do with her casual girl-next-door appearance. In a franchise filled with over-sexualized females that fights in miniskirts and stockings on the battlefield, Lucina may appeal to a certain part of the audience that just wants a normal girl, and that's exactly who she is. She isn't over-exaggerated and seems very down-to-earth, and I also think it helps that her American voice actor is extremely talented, something which I think made her literally talk her way into the hearts of many fans. At any rate, I know at least a couple of people who will be very glad to see Lucina on this segment. I do this for the fans after all, and I do admit, Lucina is pretty darn adorable. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to read some mail, and we got quite a few mail to read today, so let's start with this one right here from Jonathan, or yeah, Jonathan. I think Jonathan, yeah, that's his name. Anyway, he says, "Hello, Mangs. I want to thank you for making such interesting content on such regular basis. Your text bubbles especially always crack me up. Yeah, people seem to love those things. If I had more time to edit videos, I would add a lot more of them. I was introduced to your channel through the Canas spotlight post on the Fire Emblem subreddit. Since then, I watched your videos daily, and I loved your Fire Emblem 6 randomized run. As someone who used to struggle with Fire Emblem 6 hard mode, I feel your videos made me a much better player. Anyway, I also have a number of questions for you. Alright, number 1. The only Fire Emblem game I haven't played yet is Fire Emblem 2. Is it worth checking out? I hear a lot of not so good aspects about it from the Fire Emblem communities. I was wondering, as I need something to play as the semester of school ends. Alright, Gaiden, I'm not the best person to ask this, because Gaiden is actually the only game that I haven't played a lot of, but I have watched Mage Knight 404's Gaiden Let's Play, and if you're curious about that, you should go check that out, because it's actually really good. I can throw a link in the video description. Gaiden is sort of the black sheep of the Fire Emblem family. It's a really weird game. It is a little bit more RPG-ish in its way of behaving. Like, you have, like, cities you can walk around in and talk to people, But I think one of Gaiden's greatest weaknesses is really, really fucking piss poor map design and really fucking boring and slow levels. Like, you have like these huge, massive levels, and the enemy's like all the way on the other side, and it takes like a fucking 20 minutes just moving your army from one side of the map to another. It's really fucking slow. Luckily, there is this thing called the emulator speed-up button, which really fucking helps in this regard. But yeah, I think that if you want to play Awakening, I said, if you want to play Gaiden, there's a lot of cool elements to it. Like, there's a lot of things that Fire Emblem 8 borrowed, and many people argue that they didn't really do as well as Gaiden, because Gaiden had a lot of good ideas and a lot of good concepts, but sadly the engine just makes it incredibly clunky. I personally think Fire Emblem 1 is a much better game. It's on the same console, and Gaiden kind of just... I understand what they were trying to do, but it just didn't work out in my opinion. Anyway, but yeah, you can go play it, just don't expect too much. Number 2, what made you interested in Fire Emblem? I randomly entered Fire Emblem 9 one day, about 6 years ago, and fell in love from there. Apologies in question. This question has been asked before, but I don't remember you answering it. I think I've answered it before, but I can do it again. I played a lot of Advanced Wars with my friends back in the day. I got introduced to Advanced Wars 1 at the age of about, I think, 12 or 13, and I played it a lot at school. And then a friend of mine said, hey, you should try Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem is like Advanced Wars just in the medieval era, which of course isn't really true, but it's kind of true. They have similarities. So I went onto my computer. I had just discovered the glorious things that were ROMs and emulators, and I played a lot of old school games on my computer back then. I was so fucking into emulators. I played emulators all day long. And I downloaded Fire Emblem 7, I played it, and I fell completely in love with it, and has been a big Fire Emblem fanboy ever since those days. Anyway, number 3, similar to question 1, I am a big fan of Civilization 5, and I was wondering wondering, in your opinion, if the older games are worth checking out. Yeah, the older games are fun. Civilization 4 is quite a lot of fun. They're good, you have to kind of be a little bit patient with them, and give them some time just to, you know, for you to sink into them, because arguably some of the older Civ games are a lot more complex than Civ 5. Civ 5 is actually rather simple in comparison to Civilization 4, especially with all the expansion packs of Civilization 4. Holy shit. That's a lot of fucking shit to set yourself into there. So if you like complicated games, then you should go check them out. I personally didn't really end up enjoying the older games that much, but I guess I didn't really give them all that much time either. I played some Civilization 4 with my friend. He really wanted me to get into those games. But, yeah, in the end, I just didn't find myself playing it as much. Anyway, number 4, lastly, is there any good Norwegian food I should try? I really enjoy cooking. Norwegian food is like, I don't know. I don't eat a lot of trademark Norwegian food. To be quite honest, like, I'd say fish. We have really good fish here in Norway. So if you ever get a chance to like try Norwegian salmon or something, you should definitely do that. But to be quite honest, what Norwegians eat a lot of is frozen pizza and kebab. That is really the dominating dishes. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. That is what we eat. That is, and sushi. We're really, really fond of sushi. So those are the things we really eat. I don't know. Try meatballs in brown sauce, if you know what that is. That is with potatoes. That's a pretty good Norwegian dish. But yeah, or if not, just try the Norwegian fish. That's pretty fucking good. So yeah, sincerely, Jonathan. Ignore my weird email name. Yeah, I'll ignore it. It's pretty fucking weird. Alright, so the next mail comes in from that guy. It's that fucking guy again. And wow, he actually has a real mail for us this time. I thought that guy only spoke in witty one-liners, but apparently I was mistaken. He says, Dear Mangs, a serious letter this time is what you may have been hoping for. Instead, I bless your eyes with the attached image and ask some questions. Oh, fucking hell. Why would you do this? Oh, that guy. Always has to be something. Alright, number 1. You get transported into a Fire Emblem village during a bandit attack. You are severely injured, and your only hope is to depend on a Fire Emblem character to save you. There is one problem, however. Your saviors are a choice of Wendy, Sophia, Meg, or Wendy. Who do you pick? Did you intentionally write Wendy twice? Oh my god, that's a really fucking hard one. Okay, so bandits are coming, and I am severely injured. Okay, so I need to, like, they need to protect me. Well, Wendy wouldn't work, because she'd just die. Sophia would probably just fall over and snap her neck, without even the bandits having to do anything. I think probably Meg, because Meg is... She sort of has this creepy stalker vibe thing going on. Maybe she would be able to, like, talk and terrify them. I don't know. I think Meg would be my best choice, because she has the ability to scare people away. That's how awful she is. I mean, Sophia and Wendy would just fall over and snap in half, but Meg might be able to do something. Shut up, Meg. Anyway, number 2. In regards to your Fire Emblem character spotlight videos, I would like to suggest Riss, a humble priest. He cannot fight, but his staff can heal your wounded. Talk about him, and you'll be very glad you did. Oh my god, now I have to do a fucking Riss spotlight. Ugh, that guy. Anyway, 4. You get to make an Advanced Wars CO for some reason. What are their strengths, weaknesses, powers, and a female tit size? Yeah, I'll definitely make a female CO with double Ds, because we need more busty COs in Advanced Wars. I get to make an Advanced Wars CO, you say? Well, oh, that's a tricky one on the spot right there. I have actually designed a lot of COs in the past, so I think the one I will go with is a... I need to think. What kind of COs did I enjoy the most? I think I'd create a CO that gets a firepower bonus depending on how many squares she moves her units. If you ever played Heroes of Might and Magic 3, you know the Cavaliers have a thing called jousting bonus. For every tile they move, they get a bonus to damage done. I think this would be really fun to have as a CO. Like, for every tile you move prior to attacking, you get a 5% bonus to your firepower. So if you move your infantry 3 spaces before attacking, you get a 15% bonus to firepower. And her power would be named like Blitzkrieg or something. She would be like a fucking speed freak. A fucking like blonde goddess with enormous tits that is like super aggressive, and she's like a total speed freak. She's like a rave chick. Oh, that would be so fucking awesome. She would have like glow sticks, and she'd be sitting on a bike going like and she would be all about speed, and she would take ecstasy before combat and be like super high, and like her powers would just like kind of like Adder would increase her movement speed, but maybe she'd also take some penalties to her defense because you know she's a crazy fucking maniac, and she would wear like fucking bright colored glowing bands that like blinked in different colors. Oh, that sounds so fucking amazing. Oh, why isn't this CO? Like if I ever make a hack, I want this CO made. Her name can be Tanya. That sounds like a really fucking good name for a raver chick. Or Natasha, like a Russian rave chick. Oh, that sounds so fucking good. I amaze myself with my ideas sometimes. All right, anyway. Let's continue. 5. Did you notice that question 4 is actually question 3? Come on. Number 6. Would you tap that image attached in case you have no idea? I would be very conflicted. I mean, I actually need to take a closer look because I actually don't have it. No, I would not. Why did I even consider that? I just thought about Tarja, but no, that head would ruin it for me. I'm sorry. That would kill my boner so fast. Although I do like Oliver. He is quite fabulous. In that setting, he doesn't bring forth his strengths. Not enough curves, you know. 7. What is your favorite musical instruments? Why? Because why not? The saxophone, I think, is really fucking awesome because it makes girls literally just throw their panties at you whenever you play it. I have been witness to this. It's literally true. I don't know what it is with that instrument, but it just, I don't know. It has magical powers over women, I tell you that. I wish I had taken my time to learn it. Sadly, I invested all my time into guitar playing, and while I do love playing the guitar, I really fucking want to learn the sax. But right now, the sax is very expensive, and I don't know, it's a lot more complicated to learn than the guitar, that's for sure. But I do fucking love the guitar. Number 8. Did you know that in Fire Emblem 8, pre-promotes, including Seth, can be the Demon King in a randomized run, and they can even summon monsters. Unfortunately, the summoned monsters are enemies, but it's still awesome. What? Oh my god, that sounds broken as fuck! Do they still get the insane bonuses from his Ravager and his... Or do they get his Ravager and Demon Light? Oh my fucking god, that sounds hilarious. And he can... Can he summon demons every single turn? That sounds so abusable. You could, like, for example, have a Seth Demon King summon fucking demons, so you could have your party grind the demons. And furthermore, what levels are the demons he summons? Are they the same as the demons summoned in the final map? So, if I start with Seth on the first map and I summon demons, do I summon in like a bunch of level 10 pre-promoted demons and they just massacre everyone? And furthermore, will those demons actually attack the enemy or just me? Oh my god, I fucking hope I get a Demon King in my randomized run. That sounds horribly broken. Anyway, 9, lol TC? No. 10, is there anything that you feel Fire Emblem 1 did better than Fire Emblem 11? I personally think that Mark should take off his pants again, but that's just that guy. Fire Emblem 1 did better than Fire Emblem 11? That's a tricky one. I was gonna say storage, just as a joke, but no. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the problem with Fire Emblem 11 wasn't that it did anything worse, it's just that it didn't do anything new. And it should have done something new. I don't know. I really don't know. Marth was a lot better in Fire Emblem 1. That's for sure. Like, his character, his growths, they were a lot better. In Fire Emblem 11, he was really fucking bad. But no, I don't think so. I don't think they did anything horribly better. Or worse, really. Nah. Anyway, 11. Why did you not read my previous mail? Any specific reason? If you can go back to it and read it, there is a message not from Lord Nergal. I don't know, I just didn't want to, okay? 12. Best Fire Emblem meme? I'm not into memes, sorry. What are those? 13. Am I asking too much questions? Yes. I fear the answer to question 13 may be a yes. Yes. So I'll say this. Your videos, new and old, always puts a smile on my face. Whether it be you scoring during an LP. Oh yeah, that was fun. Perfect level or nothing. Claiming luck is best stat, capping a throne, or just simply saying Marcus sucks. Your videos have always entertained me, and I'll be watching, maybe commenting, and I should end this mail by yours sincerely, that very awesome guy. Thank you, that guy. Alright, so this next mail comes in from Jack-O-Lantern, and he says, Hello, Mangs. Greetings from Australia. Matey, I don't know. Kangaroo. I am Jack-O-Lantern 12 on YouTube, and I think I've been subscribed to you for a year and a half now. I love your content. I mainly watched your Fire Emblem and Advanced Wars videos, only because I'm not really interested in Civilization, etc. Not many YouTubers / Let's Players have an amazing personality and make enjoyable videos. All aboard the Mangs train. Choo-choo! Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Anyway, I'd like to ask you a few questions. 1. Do you like the way Fire Emblem is heading with Fire Emblem Fates, such as the 2 versions, etc.? No, I really don't like the way Fire Emblem is moving at all. I think that the sales of Awakening kind of sent the wrong message to the developers. I think personally that the reason why Awakening sold so well was because the 3DS was an extremely popular console. I stand by this. I don't think Awakening sold well because it was a good game. I think it simply came out at the right time, and it did some smart things, like I think including the avatar and shit really helped sales. But I think that, honestly, we would be very ready for another old-school Fire Emblem game on a popular console. And when I say old-school, I mean a Fire Emblem game that follows a little bit of the old-school mentality. You know, a little bit more difficult, but not like lunatic-style difficulty with just inflated stats. A little bit more harsh and unforgiving with gated chapters and things that, you know, weapons that break and shit like that. And just a little bit more old-school style Fire Emblem. I think, honestly, that the way Fates is heading, like, I haven't played it yet, but it really looks like Awakening 2.0 in terms of its design and shit like that, and I am afraid, like, I'm gonna have an open mind, and I'm gonna try to let the story do its work on me, and I'm gonna try not to be negative, but honestly, what I'm seeing so far, I am not really liking all that much. I am hyped for Fates because I'm looking forward to Let's Playing it, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun Let's Playing it, but honestly, I am not very excited for the future of the Fire Emblem franchise. I really hope that, like, I think the best thing for the series right now, what would really fucking hype me up, would be to see a remake of Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. I know that they burned themselves hard on remakes, considering Fire Emblem 11 and 12 were considered flops, and I think that's bogus, because Fire Emblem 12 was amazing. I think that if we saw a remake of Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War, oh my god, I would be... For newer players to discover the story through a remade game, if they keep the story as dark and grim, like, they could certainly soften it up. I hope they wouldn't do that, but yeah, that would make me really fucking excited, because I think that's exactly what we need. Because I genuinely believe that many of the new players who came in and experienced Awakening as their first game, that they would actually like the old school style of Fire Emblem if they actually took their time to try it out. I really think that Awakening went the wrong way with Fire Emblem. I really did. I hope we can fix this. I really do. I mean, as long as Fire Emblem games keeps coming out, I guess I'm happy as long as the franchise lives. And Fates might very well make Fire Emblem go mainstream, because it's gonna be quite a popular game, I think. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. 2. Will you be playing through all 3 versions of Fire Emblem Fates? I guess I will. I mean, I'll start with Nor. If I like Nor, I'll probably do Hoshido, and then I'll do the Hidden Kingdoms, or whatever the fuck it's called. If I really fucking enjoy it, then maybe. If I absolutely end up despising Fates, and I think that is fucking awful, then I'll probably just play through Nor and leave it alone. But I've invested a lot of money into my capture cards, so I do want to get my return on it, and maybe, I don't know. If I can play Awakening and enjoy that, then I guess I can play Fates. It can't be worse than Awakening. It honestly, if it is worse than Awakening, then they have fucking outdone themselves. And I think I'm simply going to have to play it simply out of pure admiration for the fact that they managed to top that third pile. Anyway, number 3. What is your favorite Fire Emblem hack ever? Midnight Sun. Answered that a million times. 4. What are your favorite CEOs in Advance Wars 1 and 2? Mine is Hawk. I don't know why I really just like him. Yeah, Hawk's a fan favorite because he's really sold as being extremely overpowered, even though he's not. In Advance Wars 1, Olaf was my favorite CO. I always played Olaf. I really enjoyed the way his CO power worked. Like, I really enjoyed limiting the movement of my enemies. In Advance Wars 2, I started initially playing Olaf, but I fell in love with Adder after realizing how absurdly broken his extra movement was. And just the fun of spamming little power all the time and always having faster units than my opponent really just made me fall in love with Adder. So yeah, anyway. Thanks for reading and answering, and I hope to see more of your content in the future. Stay awesome, Mangs! Alright, so this next mail comes in from the Outraged Maple, and he says, "Hello again, Mangs. It's your Marissa fanboy, Outraged Maple, being stupid and watching your videos at 6 in the morning. Anyway, I will ask some questions, but before I do, can you just put Marissa on the side? Thanks." Again? Alright, okay, one final time. This is the last time I'm gonna do it. There you go, hope you're happy. She is pretty to look at, so it's fine, but I don't want to neglect Louise too much, you know? Anyway, okay, so I was wondering if you will do a draft for Fire Emblem Awakening. I'd love to see you use the characters we would want, and don't worry, there isn't a bad character in that game. The problem with using the characters you would want is that if I do a draft, it's going to be very unfair, because most likely not everyone is going to get their pick. When you do a draft, you essentially allow people to vote in the characters for you. I am sort of doing the draft in that I'm doing a straw poll, and I will be using most of the characters that are on the top 10 list. Sometimes I might decide to use a couple of characters that might not be high on the list just because I want to. It's sort of like a mixed thing, you know? I'll let you guys decide most of my cast, and then I'll pick a couple myself, or I may just end up using all the characters on the top list. I think that's the most fair way of doing it, because then we can see what characters are more popular than others. Anyway, secondly, what is your favorite class in any of the Fire Emblem games? Paladin! Paladins are amazing. Like, Paladins to me symbolize what Fire Emblem is all about. If you picture the Fire Emblem logo with a unit underneath it, I don't know about you guys, but I would picture a Paladin wielding a lance. I think that it doesn't get more Fire Emblem than that. I think Paladins are cool. They are fast, they're strong, they're tanky, they can use a lot of different weapons. They're sort of like the ultimate martial class, really. If not the ultimate class in the game, in my opinion. I think that the Paladins are perhaps one of the most powerful classes in all of the games, really. I really like them a lot. Anyway. Last one, I swear. Have you ever thought about Let's Playing Tearing Saga? Yeah, it's on the lists of things of games of games that I would like to check out in the future. I think that the Tearing Saga games look very cool. They're essentially the spiritual successor to Treasure 776. They're made by the same guy that made the old school games, so I think that I would appreciate their design, but there's something about the graphics of those games that I don't really like it. It's like very clunky, not good. But yeah, I definitely might check out Tearing Saga at some points, maybe even Berwick Saga, we'll see. Are they translated? I actually don't know. If someone could answer this, that would be nice. In all seriousness, you are an amazing entertainer, Mangs, and I hope you keep it up. 5k subs is just around the corner, and you deserve way more. The Fire Emblem community is very lucky to have someone like you. Thank you for your time, Outraged Maple. No, thank you for your time. That was a very nice mail. Alright, so this next mail comes in from a guy who wants to be called Morichika or Rinosuke. I think Morichika sounds a lot cooler, so I'll call you that. Comes in from Morichika, and he says, "Hey there, Mangs. Greetings from Canada." Ah, Canada, you're playing some hockey? Sorry, I'm big on the racial stereotypes today. To start, I found your channel for quite a while now because of your Advanced Wars runs and decided to stay since. And yes, I only subscribed about 2 months ago. I tend to do that with a lot of YouTubers in the past for some reason. Anyway, awkwardness aside, I have a few questions for you. Oh, how nicely he has structured this mail. For your future Awakening playthrough, what difficulty would you choose? Lunatic is quite challenging at the start, after all. I'm going to be playing on Hard Classic. For your Advanced Wars 2 War Room Challenge, do you expect to do the maps that were added in Dual Strike as well? They're quite fun after all, especially seeing how the AI actually knows how to break pipes now. Yeah, true. The campaign may suck, but the AI no longer does. That's very true. Speaking of AI, if you are doing those maps, will you redo those having pipes as well? The strategy to use for those two 4CO maps are quite different between the two versions after all. Maybe. Maybe I'll play some War Room. Yeah, the Dual Strike AI is fantastic. It really offers a big challenge compared to Advanced Wars 2. But yeah, maybe. For your Famicom Wars playthroughs, do you plan on completing every advanced maps on there? I'm quite curious about the maps after the 15 Duo Falls. Yeah, I am actually really curious to what something apparently happens when you beat all of the advanced maps. You get a little cutscene from what I understand. And some people even say that you unlock a secret map when you do that. And I would actually be really curious to see what happened. But holy crap, beating all those maps, that's going to take a lot of time. I think I'm going to have to do that off screen. But yeah, I actually really want to see what happens when you beat all the advanced maps. So I've read several forum posts from people saying that you get something really fucking cool when you do that, and that sounds awesome. I have to check that out at some points. Just need to find the time to do it, really. Anyway, for your Undertale run, do you plan on doing a second run to check what you missed? It's almost impossible to find every secret on your first run, even if you check a whole walkthrough on YouTube. And for the mini rant part, I'm disappointed you didn't go for a snow laugh pun, especially with your Papyrus voice. His name is produced Papyrus. I hate pronunciation geeks, sorry. I really fucking hate them. No offense to you, good sir, but people who are just so caught up in how things are pronounced. No, I'll probably won't be playing more Undertale after my Let's Play. It's a fantastic game, but I have very limited time these days, and I don't really have time to play my game more than once unless it's really fucking good. Alright, last question. What was your reaction to Corrin being announced in Smash? Meh. I think it's cool that Fates gets more recognition and that it gets more popularity by having a character in Smash, but Smash isn't really my game. I don't really care that much about it. Maybe now that I have a capture card, I should get Smash and play against some of my subscribers, but meh. I hope your channel continues to grow like it is right now. It would be quite enjoyable to see you do this for a living after all. Do you intentionally say after all at the end of all your sentences, or is it something that you actually aren't aware of? After all. And he sent me some gifs, but I don't think that was actually intended for the show. I was some Super Famicom Wars gifs. They're kind of funny. Anyway, thanks Morichika. Thanks for the mail. It was a good mail. Alright, so next mail comes in from the hero King Marth, and he labels it Mangs Monday for Senpai! And he says, hey, my name is King Marth the Hedgehog on YouTube. I love Fire Emblem 1. Mangs and I love your content, and I have 2 questions for you, senpai. Oh, will I finally notice you? 1. Will you do an Einherjar card unit run of Awakening, or at least use them to make things different? I don't see a point in doing a normal run, as it's already been done before. I mean, if we go by your logic, then I shouldn't do any Let's Plays, because everything has been done before. Well, yeah, an Awakening Let's Play may have been done before, but not by me. So, but yeah, I don't know. That requires me to get DLC, doesn't it? That sounds boring. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Oh, I see what you did there. You say you have 2 questions, but the next question is number 1.69. Oh, I see what you did there. Opinion on Serene's Forest, please rant. Oh, God. Do I really have to go back there? Okay, one thing needs to be said about Serene's Forest. I love the page. I hate the forum. It's the forum I hate. The page is amazing. It's filled with amazing resources for every single game. Like, it's the best place to go if you're looking for something, if you want information or the like. So Serene's Forest is a fantastic site, but it's the forum and the people on the forum that I despise. Now, it has gotten a lot better ever since Gast became a moderator there. He's kicked out a lot of the most toxic people there, so it's gotten a little bit better, and he works really hard to try and improve the community, which I give him great respect for. However, I still think that the main problem of Serene's Forest is that it's being run by a bunch of teenagers, and I don't say that as an insult, like all teenagers suck, but it's the biggest fan site on the internet for Fire Emblem, and I feel like the moderators need to get their shit together and actually have some guidelines and actually, you know, treat it a little bit more professionally, because right now I feel like it's just a bunch of teens that just moderate and remove things they don't personally like. And also I just think that, I don't know, there's a lack of humor, at least my kind of humor on there. I think maybe a lot of the people in Serene's Forest are pretty sensitive, particularly to my humor, which can be a little bit vulgar. Particularly my, like, people can perhaps perceive me as a little bit sexist in the way I view women and shit like that, even though that's bullshit. I am not sexist at all, I just enjoy beautiful ladies. But my hatred of Serene's Forests have gradually turned to, like, apathy over the years, and now I'm just finding myself not really caring all that much about the forum anymore. There are better things, like, for example, the Fire Emblem Facebook group, which arguably suffers from some of the same problems in that it is starting to attract a lot of retards, but the moderators are pretty good at banning them, so I personally think that the Fire Emblem Facebook page is a better place right now than Serene's Forest in terms of, you know, people just sharing content and talking about the game. I also think that the Fire Emblem subreddit has gotten a lot better, and there's a lot of cool stuff on there right now, so... But I really wish actually that someone would create a new forum for Fire Emblem. I've been to many of the existing ones, and I don't know, there's just something about the people posting there that I just don't like. They just don't seem like the kind of people that I could see myself having fun with. A lot of, like, very, like, just sensitive people. They get so easily offended by absolutely everything. And I can't take people who offend from everything. Like, just deal with things seriously. That's all I really can say. So yeah, maybe not the rant you were looking for. Had you asked me maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have been shouting at this point. But right now, my answer is that I just really don't care all that much about that place anymore. I don't view it as very important. I do come there from time to time to check for updates and shit, but that's about it. Anyway, number 1.8. Oh, you little fucker. Favorite Fire Emblem games in order? Oh, no. Oh, no, I can't. That's like a fucking video. My top 13 favorite Fire Emblem games. I think this would be a good video, by the way. Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that. If I, like that, I'm probably gonna make it a top 13 Fire Emblem games video at some point. But I can list my 3 favorite ones at the very least. I can do that much because I have that answer on the top of my head. So my first, and like the game I enjoy the most, is naturally Fire Emblem 6, Binding Blade. That's my favorite game. After that, at a very close second place, is actually Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War. Even though it has a ton of problems, I still think that it's one of the most innovative and, like, aside from its, like, the things that it did wrong, it did very wrong, like horrible map design, overpowered mounted units, bad level design, way too easy difficulty. But the thing that it did well, such as the story, even though it's clunkily told, and the world itself, as well as the pairing system, which is the best pairing system we've ever seen, although there's not a lot of competition. Fire Emblem 4 is my second favorite Fire Emblem game, just because I think that, to this day, it still fucking amazes me how well that game was put together at some point. Or on some points, I should say. Although it certainly has a whole heap load of issues. I would really fucking like to see a remake of Fire Emblem 4. That would be awesome. And number 3 is Fire Emblem 7, Rekka no Ken. It actually used to be number 2, but over the years, I've actually it has dropped a little bit for me in terms of popularity, but I still view it as a really good game. So yeah, those are my 3 most favorite Fire Emblem games. Hope that satisfied you. Alright, so 1.9 opinions on Kamui. Kamui, is that the Fates avatar in Smash? I don't really care all that much. I think it's nice that that Fates is getting a little bit more popularity in terms of getting a Smash character, but I don't really play Smash, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. But maybe I'll start playing Smash now that I have a capture card, and then I could fight against my subscribers. I think that would be fun. Alright, let's see. Question 1.95. Who is your husbando, if you had to choose one? I don't know. Since Luis is pretty much the definition of my waifu, I guess Pent can be my husbando, because I do love Pent. I mean, he is a fantastic unit, and if anyone were to bang Luis, it would have to be him. So I don't really hate him for that. More like admire him, really. So yeah, I guess we could say Pent. I do fanboy him pretty hard. 2. If you had the Pokemon Ditto, what would you do with it if it can transform into anything, not just Pokemon? I'd show it a picture of Luis. Yeah. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day. You're the only good Fire Emblem channel that keeps producing contents. Arguably, there are some other pretty decent guys out there, but I'll take that as a compliment. P.S. I left you a picture of my favorite Fire Emblem. Yeah. Who is that guy? Like, who is that guy? I don't recognize him. He looks like a retarded version of Oguma. I honestly do not remember that guy. Alright, thanks for the mail. Alright, so next mail comes in from my good friend Ethan, and he says, Dear Mangs, I know I was just recently on Mangs Monday, but I forgot some questions. I understand if you don't put me on. Alright, you get one more. One more! Okay, then you have to wait. 1. If I made you a playable character in a ROM hack, could I make you similar to Ralph in Tracia 776 in terms of personality? What, you mean in the fact that I wouldn't have one? No, I don't want to be a playable character, dude. Make me a boss or don't make me a character at all. 2. Whether you are playable or not, would you like a personal weapon? And if so, what stats and name do you want it to have? Give me a spear and make it something awesome. If I'm a Duke Knight, I want to have a spear called the Draupnir. That would be really fucking awesome, or something other mythological. Make it give me a lot of skill, and make it have a lot of crits, and make it be like a javelin so you can throw it. And the idea is that since I am a Duke Knight and thus I'll have a lot of skill, I'll have a lot of crits. And I'll be a really fucking annoying boss, because regardless of how much luck you have, I'll always have a really high chance to crit you. So I'll be a really fucking annoying boss that has a chance to kill anyone in your group. However, here's the thing. There's a stealable iron rune in the map that I show up in. And the thing is, the character with the iron rune is gonna leave very early. So if you want the iron rune, you're gonna have to play very well. You don't have a warp staff at this point, by the way, so you can't just warp cheese it. So, like, say on turn 7 or 8, the character leaves. You have to get your thief over there by that time. You have to steal the iron rune. And without the iron rune, there's a very high chance that Duke Knight Mangs is gonna crit the shit out of your units and kill them. You see? That's how I implemented a cool mechanic to actually counter a boss. Make the Draupnir, like, it should have, like... It doesn't need that much mites. Like, give it some might, but make it have like a 100% hit chance. Maybe a might of like 12 or 11, like a Silver Lance. And it should have like 30% crit on it. And it should give the character like plus 10 skill. That would be really fucking awesome. So yeah, plus 10 or plus 20 skill. Yeah, plus 20 skill. So like, you need that iron rune, or else you're gonna get crit to shit by the Duke Knight Mangs. Alright. Number 3. What advanced wars have what Advanced Wars would you recommend? I think you meant what Advanced Wars would you recommend to beginners. So you made me want to play the game, so I wanted your recommendations. Advanced Wars 2 is a good place to start, but I'd start from the first one, really. And no, I don't mean Game Boy Wars. I mean just start by playing Advanced Wars 1, play the normal campaign, stay far away from the hard campaign. You're gonna get absolutely raped. Even the normal campaign is actually pretty hard for a new player. But play through the normal campaign of Advanced Wars 1, and then go on to play the normal campaign of Advanced Wars 2, and you'll get the whole story, and I guess you can, if you're really sadistic, you can go play Dual Strike as well, if you really want the finishing saga, but don't expect too much of it. But yeah, Advanced Wars 1 is a nice place to start. But I think that Advanced Wars 2 is the best game of all time. Make sure you play Days of Ruin as well, because that's a good game too. Also, my predictions for the tournament have been right so far, as of before semifinals. Yeah, well, it's kind of decided now, isn't it? Percy hype! Your friend Ethan. P.S. I don't think you would look like you do, but I have no idea. I didn't think you would look like you do, but I had no idea what to imagine. Alright. Cool. Alright, so this next mail comes in from Ruth McNally, and he says, "Hi Mangs, it's been a while since I made direct interactions such as comments and Mangs Monday. But I can say that I've been watching your videos throughout the time, especially when Advanced Wars once comes up. I'll probably try to interact some more now. I'm especially glad to hear you got the 3DS capture card, and I will definitely watch your Awakening Let's Play. Though my real hype is definitely aimed at the Dual Strike Let's Play. Especially since we should be able to get your full thoughts on Dual Strike in it, as I'm always interested in other people's thoughts. Thought I made my thoughts on Dual Strike blatantly clear, but okay. Either way, I have some questions, as is customary for the show. 1. During the previous Mangs Monday, you mentioned Glaceon being one of your favorite Pokemon to use. Since beforehand you have mentioned not being into the newer Pokemon games, and with Glaceon being a relatively new Pokemon, Generation 4, that has made me wonder what your cutoff point for the series is. Oh, I played all of the games. Every single one of them. I even completed all of the games. It's just that I wasn't overly impressed by them. I had a decent amount of fun when I played them, but I didn't really go back and replay them after I beaten them. I don't know, it's probably just linked to nostalgia for me. I mean, I enjoyed the first 2 generations, maybe the third to some extent. That's about it. After that, my interest kind of drops off. I mean, I'm a big fan of the 150 original Pokemon. That's what Pokemon is for me. All the Pokemon that came after, I can't relate to them. The only, like, times I used the newer Pokemon were when I did the Eevee run, and I think that was Black 2? Black and White 2? Yeah, I think so. And in every single game that I've played, I've always tried to assemble a team consisting of the original 150 Pokemon. Always. There was one of the games, I think it was White 1 or Black 1, where you couldn't get any of the original Pokemon until you actually defeated the Elite Four. I hated that. I absolutely fucking hated that. That's why I went with the Eevee team, because I realized that you couldn't catch anything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But in White 2 and Black 2, you could do that, and that was very nice. So yeah, as I said, I think it's mostly linked to nostalgia for me. The reason why I like the older games, they're not any better by any means. I mean, Pokemon has really just gotten better and better. It's just that it is the game for kids, and I'm not a kid anymore. And the only time where I can enjoy a game really aimed at kids is if I played it as a kid. I think that's the logic right there. But I do think that the newer Pokemon games hold your hand a little bit too much, and there's a little bit too much dialogue, especially at the start. I really enjoy the simplicity of the older games. You know, here's the Pokemon. Here's some Pokeballs. Go out and explore the world. Goodbye. That's it. You know, no mother calling you every 5 minutes. No people meeting you at every corner with dialogues and tons of speech bubbles. It's just go out and catch Pokemon. That's it. Oh, here's a Zubat cave. Go into it. You know, well, where are you gonna go? I don't know. Just find the exit. All right, here's a gym. Let's go and fight the people in the gym. You know, there's no hand holding, and that kind of adds to the adventure feel. For me, at the very least. Yeah, it's cool to have some dialogue every now and then. It's cool to be able to talk, but like, you can almost complete the first Pokemon game without talking to anyone, and that's fucking great. Like, you can just go through and do whatever the fuck you like. There's no people stopping you, you know? And if you want to go into the city and talk to everyone in the city, you can do that. And you get rewarded for it sometimes. But if you don't want to, you can just go straight to the city. None of the newer Pokemon games actually allows you to do that. If you try to go to the city, you'll trigger some sort of cutscene or something happening. And I get that. You know, you want to spice things up. It's like Fire Emblem 1 compared to Fire Emblem 10, you know, there's a lot more dialogue in Fire Emblem 10. But sometimes the simplicity kind of makes things sweeter. That's at least what I think. Anyway. A long answer, but I think you got I think I made my point there. Number 2, if you were to make your own Advanced Wars CO, what would the CO be like? I got that exact same question, but of course you couldn't know that. You couldn't know that. My main interest is in their abilities and CO powers, though I wouldn't object to you giving us a personality as well as what faction they would be fighting for. Yeah, I think I'll just repeat myself on this one, even though you probably already heard it. I really like that crazy rave blonde chick that with massive boobs that gets firepower increase the more she moves. That would be awesome. I would really love a CO like that. So yeah, just gonna repeat myself on that instead of being original and thinking about another CO. You know what? No, you know I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna create another CO on the spot. All right. And this CO is gonna have increased defense. So he's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be like a stalwart guy, like not like Javier. He's gonna be a little bit more rude than that. He's gonna be a green earth CO, I've decided. And his ability is that he gets 20% increased defense, but 10% reduced firepower. The thing is that the firepower decrease actually doesn't apply to indirect units. So his indirect units are just 100% normal. And actually, no, you know, strike that. Let's give him a 20% firepower reduction, but let's make his counterattack stronger. So he's a super defensive CO. In addition to that, his cities are harder to capture. Takes 3 turns instead of 2. That's really fucking strong. Nah, that's way too overpowered. We have to strike that. That wouldn't be viable at all. He would be way too strong. 20% extra defense, 20% reduced firepower, 50% stronger counterattacks like Sonya. And his power, okay, here's a good thing. His power, in addition to slightly increasing his defense, makes his cities uncappable for 1 turn. That's good, right? Yeah, it makes them uncappable. You can't capture them. It doesn't interrupt caps, but it makes it so that enemies can't physically press the capture key. So they kind of like are stuck in capture mode. His superpower increases his defense by quite a bit. And also increases the strength of counterattacks even further. And it interrupts all the caps on the map. So if the enemy is capping, it interrupts it, and they have to start all over again. That's cool. So yeah, I just made that up right now. Not sure how balanced it would be. I mean, he would be tricky to use. Maybe we'd have to debuff his ranged units, actually. Having like 100% firepower indirects with 20% extra defense actually sounds very strong. And yeah, the defense penalty would go in his infantry as well, so you can't just be like grit and just cover your ranged units in indirects. Maybe that could work, I don't know. Let's carry on before I get way too brainstormy here. 3. If you could create your own advanced... Oh no, this CO right here, I have to talk about him. Because I actually thought about him when I was in the planning stages of making an advanced war sack. A nature guy. Like, he's kind of the opposite of Candy from Dual Strike, yeah? His units gets a firepower increase in mountains, plains, and forest tiles. So he's like a freedom. He's like a special forces guy. He has like... he's dressed in camouflage gear. He's like... he's the special forces that, you know, traverse the wilds, so to say. And maybe he takes some reduced penalties from weather effects, I don't know. But he sucks in bases and cities. He gets less firepower on properties. So he's not an urban specialist. He's like a forest and mountain and plain specialist. That would be kind of fucking cool. I'd like that. So yeah, I'm gonna... I like this question too much. I have to continue. 3. If you could create your own Advanced Wars units... Oh my god! Oh my god, Jesus Christ. What would that unit be? What would that unit be strong against and weak to? Would that unit be land, air, or naval? Naval unit. Oh, that sounds wrong. Would the unit have a specialized role? If so, what would that role be? What I would like to see would be something similar to the Flare from Dual Strike, but a little bit different. So, I think that I would like sort of a Flare units. But instead of sending out a torch that lights a large area, I think that what it instead could do is it could check a single... It could light a flare that lights up just a single tile. So it's used to scout forests. So I think the flare is a little bit too good. It removes a little bit too much fog. But maybe this one would have slightly longer range. Maybe it would be like a radar units. But that's not all it does. Oh, no, no, no. So yeah, it once per turn, it moves on tires, and it doesn't have the best of movement ranges, and if it gets attacked, it will be completely wiped out. It's really weak. But it can light up one tile, and it will reveal submarines, and like submerged submarines, and hidden planes, as well as units in forests. But it will also provide a passive defense bonus to all nearby units within 3 tiles. Due to like detection and shit, it provides people with intel. So you would try to keep these units, maybe call it like a covered ops satellite or something like that, say a satellite vehicle or anything. It would give like a 10% defense boost to nearby units. So by keeping it like in the center of your army, you boost the defense of your army, and it can use to be like scout force and shit. I think that would be really fucking cool. It wouldn't have to be like that expensive, maybe cost like, I don't know, 9,000? Sounds like a good price. Not too much, because if it's too expensive, it's just garbage to invest in it. But I think like 8 or 9,000 would be feasible. So yeah, I would really fucking like that. Anyway, number 4. Have you played any of the previous Civilization games? A little bit. I think I also answered that earlier. A little bit. Wasn't a big fan, but they were okay. 5. Back to Pokemon. What is your favorite legendary Pokemon? Mew. Fucking Mew, man. A friend of mine actually managed to obtain Mew on the Red and Blue games? Red, Blue, no. Red and Blue. Red, Blue, and Green. Those were the first ones, yeah. He managed to fucking obtain Mew in Generation 1 on his physical Game Boy. I have no idea how he did it. There is a glitch that allows you to do it on the emulator, but I'm not sure if that works on the Game Boy. But I think he physically hacked his cartridge. I think he had a friend who knew how to do it, and he hacked Mew into his game. And he also found a way to duplicate Mew so he could trade it away. And he sold that Mew for large sums of money. And we were like we were like 12 at the time. And he actually got in trouble. Some parents found out that their kids had been stealing money to buy a Mew, and he was forced to give all the money back. But holy shit, that was fucking epic. I remember like my sight. I always loved Mew to begin with, but fucking my eyes when I saw Mew for the first time on the game. He was like, I got Mew. And I was like, no. We'd heard rumors that he was in the game, but we'd never like thought they were true or anything. And when he showed me Mew, I was like, oh, my heart fucking stopped. I was so fucking excited. So yeah, ever since that day, I've been a huge fan of Mew. I always try to catch him in all of the games he's catchable in. And I like the fact that even to this day, he's still considered a very rare Pokemon in most of the games. And very difficult to obtain. And I think that's how it should be. And for me, he will always have that air of mystique about him. Because he was really like the first super hard to catch Pokemon. So obscure. I love obscure things. Anyway. Thanks for taking the time to read, and thank you for answering my questions. Wow, that was a really good mail. I love those questions. Thank you, Ruth McNally. Alright, so time for another mail. This one's short and sweet. Comes in from a guy named Gustav, and he says, Hello, Mangs! I pretty recently started watching your videos, and I have to say I absolutely love them. Your Fire Emblem 6 randomized videos were the highlights of my day for many weeks. I also have a question. Will you do something like Fire Emblem 8 randomized? It would be hilarious to see because of the monster classes being mixed into the randomizer. That's pretty much it. I hope you'll get more subscribers like you deserve and have a good one. Yeah, I will. I will randomize Fire Emblem 8. Whether or not it will be before Fates and Awakening or after, I actually don't know. Could be a little bit... Could be a while now, because there's a lot of fun stuff coming out on the channel, so look forward to that. Anyway, thanks for the mail, Gustav. Alright, so the last mail of today comes in from Lucina the Time Traveler, again, and he says, Howdy Mangs, I'm still a fanboy I was before, not much changed, so the main point of this, along with some questions, is the conversation we had the other day. So I couldn't really get my friend to edit my bust size, so this must suffice. Yeah, he has attached quite a nice picture of Lucina. I'm guessing you enjoyed my Fire Emblem Babe of the Week segments. That was actually for you. So yeah, always nice to see Art of Lucina, I guess. 1. Will you be using your 3DS capture card for the occasional series, e.g. Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, or whatever? Yeah, I probably will. I mean, it opens up a lot of possibilities for new Let's Plays, that's for sure. So I will be using it. I invested a lot of effort into getting one, so I'm going to use it for everything it's worth. Number 2, will you be making any Christmas-related videos? I guess. I'm not going to make any promises, but one might pop in. Probably will be doing a Christmas vlog, at the very least. Number 3, do you think you'll be able to showcase every single piece of mail on Mangs Monday since there is so much coming in? I reject a lot of mail, but I have actually tried to read most of them. But yeah, sometimes I get mails that are simply way too, poorly written, or too long, or just don't have anything interesting in them whatsoever. So yeah, I do reject a lot of mail, but I do try to read out at least the good mails, so to say. Alright, continue being awesome, and stay fresh, Lucina Nerd. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we had time for in this episode of Mangs Monday. As I said at the start of the show, I won't be making any more Mangs Mondays in 2015 because I have a really tight schedule, a lot of things happening, and I simply don't have the time. So, you can expect the next Mangs Monday to be released sometime after the new year. I really wish I could, but it takes about maybe 5 to 6 hours of editing work for each episode. It takes a really fucking long time, and I simply don't have that amount of time in the holidays, because I'm going to get a lot of visitors, I'm going to visit my family, and I also have some Let's Plays that I'm going to be making that I'm, of course, going to be releasing over the holidays, so the channel won't be inactive or anything. There will be new episodes every day for you guys to watch, so I hope you guys will look forward to that. So, please consider leaving a like and a comment if you enjoyed this Mangs Monday. Remember, you can send me mails at mangsandzerul@gmail.com if you want them read out on the show. And as always, I wish you an amazing Christmas vacation, if you have that sort of thing. You know, some of you might be working on Christmas Eve. I know I certainly did once. Never again, though. So yeah, have a lovely Monday and enjoy the rest of the week as well as the 3 next ones. And I'll see you guys on the next Mangs Monday sometime in January 2016. So goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.